Yeah, good evening, everyone. So, last session we learned all the patterns and we discussed about how to use text box. We learned about how to work with the text box. So, text box related attributes, various attributes. Now we will see other elements. Once we are good with text box, all others are simple, easy to use. So next we are having password. Password, it will mask the characters with asterisk. It will mask the characters with asterisk. So attributes are similar to text box. So we just have input type password. So required pattern like autofocus, like placeholder, all such attributes are same. They all are same, like how you given for text box. What you given for text box, all those attributes are same. Only the point is the characters that we type, they will not display in clean format. Instead of displaying in clean format, they will show like asterisk. So nothing much special about this, because once you know the text box, it is same. So what we are having here is a data list and a data term, username. For that we given a text box and name as username. For password, we have a input type as password, and all concepts are same. Name, password. Whatever you used for general text box, you can use for password also. Only the point here is what happens here. Yeah, only the point is whenever you enter anything, it will mask with password characters. Placeholder, required, min length, max length, pattern, autofocus, everything same as it is. So nothing much complex about password. Next, we have number. So it restricts only numeric type value. It restricts only numeric type value. Actually, numeric type value, it will not allow others. But generally, numeric means what you may think numeric means 0 to 9, but not like that. In computer programming, so many numeric types are there. Like we have hexadecimal, binary, octa, right? So we have different types of numeric types. We have exponent. Usually, suppose you may think like 22 is a number, but 2E3 is also a number. 0B1010 is also a number. It is also a number. It's a numeric. We call it as binary. That means B, E, like characters are treated as numeric. Means combination. Not only B, a combination. That is the reason here numeric type means it may be an integer decimal, or it may be floating double, or it may be binary, hexa, octa, exponent. It will allow these types. So actually, numeric refers to integer, decimal, float, binary, hexa, octa, exponent, etc. All these are numeric types. Now here, this number attributes, um, additional attributes, we have like min, max, and step. These are additional attributes. These are the extra attributes for number. So here also required will work. Here also autofocus will work. Placeholders, everything works. Only the point is, it is strictly for numeric type. For example, see here, suppose I am changing here some data term, some age. And here we define input type as number. So name is equal to age. And you can see that here automatically a numeric up down will come. That is a numeric up down control. We call it as numeric up down. So that means number selector. It can go negative values, positive values. And if you try to type A, it is not typing. If you try to type B, not typing. But I type E, it is typing. So because E is a numeric character. What is the numeric character? Exponent. But only E is not allowed. So it is not allowing only E. It is not allowing only E. If I submit only E, it is not allowed. But if I submit 2E3, that means 2 into 10 to the power of 3. That is exponent. 2 into 10 to the power of 3. That is exponent. Then it can submit it. Right? But it can submit only the value. Its calculation is done by JavaScript. In JavaScript, that will be calculated and it will be returned as 2000. 2 into 10 to the power of 3 is 2000. So that means numeric means not just number. It refers to the types that support numbers. Usually numeric types means these will come. But what is the point here is min, max, step, value already we know. Value means what? What is the default value you want? So for example, see, I am giving here the value is 22, then by default it is 22. But actually it will go negative also. I don't want like that. Then I can give min is equal to some 15, max is 30. Now it will not go outside. That means minimum you can go with 15 only, maximum you can go 30. If you try to type some 40 and log in, it says less than or equal to 30. If I say 10 less than, greater than or equal to 50, it will not allow any another value. So we can keep a minimax. Another point is that we can use a step value. For example, generally when I run this, it is going one step down, one step up. You can make the step as 5. That means now it will go 5 steps down and 5 steps up. And remember, when you give step value, anything in between not allowed. Only step value allowed. That means if I say 16 or 17, it's not allowed. Either it should be 15 or it should be 20 or 25 or 30. Only step values are allowed. It will move step and it will allow only step. And the step we can give fraction also. Fractions also. For example, suppose I give an interest rate. Here is rate and value is 10.45. Minimum is 8.45. Maximum is 18.45. And step is actually by default step is 1. That means 1 means 10.45, 11.45, 12. But I will give here step as 0.01. 0.01, that means it will be 4, 6, 4, 7, 4, 8. It will be step 0.1. You can define any step value you want. You can keep step value 1 or fraction, anything you can define. That is how we can define a numeric. Numeric can be defined by using that. So syntactically, it will be like this. Input type is number. So name is some rate. So min is some 8.5. Max is some 18.45. Value is some 10.45. Step is 0.01, like that. We can define in that way. That is a numeric type. If you want to allow only numbers to input and you want to allow user to choose the numbers, then we can put this one. There is another way. Instead of number, we can put a range also. Range. It is similar to number, but have a slider to select values. But have a slider to select values. It is same like number, but have a slider to select values. It will not have a numeric up down, we have a slider. And syntactically same means similar means rest of all attributes are same. Min, max. What you have to do? Input type is what? Range. Name is rate. Min is some 8.545. Max is 18.45. Value is 10.45. Step is 0.01. All these are same. Only the difference you will see is the instead of a number up down control, a slider will come. That means just to change this to range instead of number, the change this to range, then automatically it will become a slider like this. This is slider. We can move, but we cannot know the value while sliding. While sliding, what is the value we want? We can show that through JavaScript. JavaScript will have a logic and display. Actually, some browsers, very old Internet Explorer like browser, they used to show value also while sliding, but modern browsers are not supporting. Modern browsers don't show value. Some old browsers used to show, but now it's not there. You can see the value only after submitting. That means you submit, then you will see rate is 13.23. But actually, this is common. Suppose we have HDFC Bank loan calculator. Suppose you see this is a bank loan calculator. These are all sliders only. And when I am moving the slider, it is showing the value here. That is not slider nature actually. Slider nature is only slide. Collect the value and showing there is JavaScript. Through JavaScript, we do all that. These are all sliders only. When you visit any website like Flipkart and all, price range, so the rating range, everything we select through sliders, right? That's very general thing. That is the concept of range. Next, we have a color input. It can display a color picker. It can display a color picker. You can select and submit color. And here, color value must be a 6-character hexadecimal value. Hexadecimal value. Anything else not supported. Generally, in HTML, we learned color can be, in HTML, we learned that the color can be 3-character hexacode, 6-character hexacode, color name, shade name. Here, only one thing you can give, 6-character hexacode. Anything else not allowed. So just what you do, input type is color, name is color, value is hash 00FF00. It will be a green color. That is color picker. You can display a color picker so that we can select the values. So here we are having the color pickers like, so just we will put a option like, so select color. And how do we do that? Input type is what? Color. That's it. So name is color, and you can see a color picker will come like that. You can click and you can choose a color. You can select the color shades. We can choose any color and we can submit. The color code will be submitted here actually. So usually, suppose I am giving default color is black. I will use value. Value means default. Default red. It will not work. It will not work. Already I told you now, only 6-character hexa code is allowed. How to give red hash? F00. This is also not allowed because it is 3-character hexa code. We need 6-character hexa code. Now it is okay. We can put some default color. Any default color you want, you just mix the color and you can put the color. But only 6-character hexa code is allowed, nothing else, right? That's a simple one. We have a color. These are all simple things. Password, color, and number, range. Because already we learned text box. Here's few changes will be there. Another important in the form elements, you have email. It is similar to text, but can validate email address, but can validate email address format. Validating email address format. It can validate the email address format. It is not verifying whether email is registered or not. It is verifying is it written in like a email or not. That means @ is there or not. Only that it will verify. I already told you now, these validations may not satisfy your requirement every time. Then we disable and we use our own validation. But you are okay, you think this is fine for you, then you can continue that. Otherwise, we don't use them every time. So syntactically same. So we have input type is email. Email. So we can add other attributes like placeholder, like autofocus. So required. All these you can add if you want. That is email. So that is also a simple one. So you can see here we want an email format. So data term, your email, and the data definition, input type is email. And here we have a name as email, placeholder as your email address. You can see you have some email. And in that, what is the point? When you enter some email in a correct format, then it will verify. Otherwise, it will say, please include @ You include @, then it will verify that and it will add. But already I showed you, it may not satisfy all your requirements. It is just verifying @. Sometimes if I type, so AB @CD, then it is going to submit it. That's not satisfying. We want to tell that minimum 4 characters before @, minimum 2 characters, end with .com, .in, .org, .edu. You have to mention different patterns. Actually, this is just have a ready-made format. If your requirement is same like them, then put that. Otherwise, we put a text box and we write our own validations. That's what JavaScript will teach you. How to disable the validation, write our own validations. And next, we have URL also. So it is similar to text, but can validate URL format. And important is URL format must have protocol, domain, extension, protocol, domain, and valid extension. That is what we need actually. That means, for example, if you write www.amazon.in, this is invalid. That is not a valid URL. Why? Because according to HTML, a valid URL means it should have protocol, HTTPS or HTTP /www.amazon.in. This is valid. If you don't mention, just you say youtube.com or flipkart.com, it will not work. It will verify the protocol, and through the protocol, it will define. So that is the URL format we are having. So here we are having another one. Another data term is URL, and data definition input type as what? URL. So name is URL. Here also you can give required anything. That means input type is URL. Name is URL. Value placeholder required autofocus. All such things you can add. So this is another one. So you see now I'm entering some www.amazon.in. So it is not a valid URL. Why? Because it needs protocol http://. Now it looks okay. That is how the URL is validated, right? Next, important in the input, we are having date and time. For date and time, so many inputs are there. HTML5 provides various input types for handling date and time values. Actually, we have date, we have time, we have date, time, local, we have month, and we have year. These are the date and time related types. That means we have a lot of types. So we have various types and we have various options. So date, time, local, month, year, all this. So various types for handling the date and time values. Now here you can see generally date and time values usually, these are all types, input type. I already told you that don't depend on the help given by Visual Studio Code because they are not official and they are not up to date and they are not completely perfect. You just take them as help, that's it. But you can't depend on them because they are all not correct every time. Just that means it's simply like somebody like you design. And then we can't trust everything. Why? Because actually, suppose see, we say suppose departure and we have a input type date. Input type date and name as departure. Actually, here date will come with a date picker. You can select a value from the calendar. You can choose a value from the calendar and use it. That is usually done. This is a calendar here, right? You can have, instead of date, you can have time. That means you can see, you can select a time. You can have you see date time is there, but that is outdated. So many years back we used to have, now it don't work. If you depend on that and you select, it will not work. Nothing. That will not work because that is not there now. We have date time local. Then it will have both date and time. We can choose both date and time. Don't depend on that help that comes, right? You should know what are currently active and perfectly working for the HTML. Okay, this is date time local. You also have month, year. That means you can select entire month. You have a week also. So we also have a week. That means you can choose entire week. We can choose year. Week also present. That means we can select entire week. You can select entire week. That means currently it is 20th week of 2024. That means it will select that weekday. So these kind of calculations are very much used in various occasions. But one problem is this will not allow you to select a range of dates. You can select only one date. So HTML don't have range. That means, for example, I mentioned date. I mentioned date. And when I mentioned the date here, I want to select from 20 to 24. It's not, it's not possible. I can't select. You can't select like that. But you will see that several websites have range. That is not HTML. They are designed with jQuery, JavaScript, Angular, React. By using them, they design like that. HTML not possible. They are all designed. Several companies sell them. They sell date code. We buy them and use such dates, right? Such controls. Actually, you see, I already told you, Telerik. Telerik is one third party. Modern UI made easy. Already I showed you grid, na? Right? So you see, when we go to demos, suppose Angular, React, jQuery demos, when you go to demos, they will give a date picker. In popular components, grid will be first place, date picker will be very common. And when you go to date picker, you can see their date pickers will be very different. That means you can see date picker, you can click and you can select the range of dates. This is not HTML. And actually for this, where is the source code? Yeah, this is ready-made code for that. And it uses lot of logic and design. And this is not free. We have to buy this and use it. You can't simply copy and use this code. You have to buy that library and use it. Right? So the point is HTML provides components, but they not satisfy every time. We can't completely depend on them. We have to do lot of modifications because in the modern generation of websites, they show the controls in such a way that you can't imagine. That means lot of graphics, effects, make them more interactive. Suppose you have seen text box, how the text box is present. Generally, text box is present like a box, but some websites will have just a line. And in that line, what you do, you enter the username like that. How to design like that? CSS is used. By using CSS, we remove the borders, we design like that. So HTML provides a simple traditional elements. So these may not be enough for every requirement, right? That is important. So that is actually, these are all different types. So here, one specialty is there. You can restrict the date by using the attributes. Attributes we have min and max. Min, max. Min, max. Another point is the date format in computer programming. Any computer programming in the world, it may be Java, .NET, PHP, Python, Node.js, anything, always will be year, month, day, hours, minutes, seconds, and milliseconds. This is the format. This is the format of date and time in anywhere in computer programming in the world. Whatever technology you may be using, any software programming you are using, for a developer, date always is in the format of year, month, day, hours, minutes, seconds, and milliseconds. How you show the date, that is different. How you take the date as a developer is important. We are talking about developer, how he should write date. We are not talking about how to show date. We can show date in whatever region he is. Indian format, day, month, year. US format, month, day, year. Anything you can do. But as a developer, anywhere you have to enter year, month, day only. Otherwise, it will not accept the dates. For example, see here. How we can restrict the date? Restrict the date is nothing but, suppose you see currently, when you select here, you can observe that when I click here, you can observe that we can choose previous dates, but it should not allow. It should allow only from 17 May to suppose 28 May. Others should not allow. Or some June 6. Others should not allow. Then how do we set the restriction? Currently, anything is possible. Any old date also we can select. Previous month also we can select. But I should not allow. Then what you do, we have to write min. Min is starting date. I am writing the starting date 17. I am writing 17/5/2024. What is the ending date? Max. Max is 06. That is 06 and 2024. I am writing like this, but it will not work. It will not work. You can see the limit is not working. I can select old dates also. Why? Because the format is not correct. What is the correct format of date? Year, month, day. That means 2024. So 05/17. That is the correct way. And 2024, 06/06. That is the correct way. And you can see that now other dates are not allowed. Even you try to select them, it's not working. And after that, June 6 only you can select, others not allowed. You cannot select other years, other months. You can choose only the date within the range. You can submit the date only within that range, others not allowed. That is a simple point here. So that is actually restriction, how you can give. Syntax is like this. Input type is date. Name is DEPT. And min is 2024 05/17. Max is 2024 06/06. Like this we can have. So how you can handle the date and time values? This is just a design for selecting the values. Right. Next important is, Another important in the input, we have file input. We have a file input. And here you should be very much clear here. Remember, so it is a file browser. It is a file browser. Remember, very important, it is not a file uploader. It is not a file uploader. It is not a uploader. It is a browser. That means it is only for selecting files. It is only for selecting files on your PC. On your PC. It is not for uploading. This thing should sit in your brain first. Because if you don't remember this, nonsense, unnecessary questions will come. If you don't remember this point, I will tell you what questions will come from you. I will tell you that. First point is, what is it? Is it a file uploader or a selector? It is a file selector. Then do you know what people ask immediately when I tell this about files? They will say, sir, how to restrict only JPG files? How to restrict only PDF files? Is it a uploader or selector? It is a selector. It is not uploader. In uploading, you can restrict JPG, PNG, PDF. That uploading is not done in HTML. It is JavaScript server-side Node.js. Server-side Node.js, client-side JavaScript will do the uploading work, not HTML. So here there is no chance of restricting file type. We can put filters. Filters means when they open, only JPG will show. But later, if they want, they can change. You cannot restrict size. They will ask like, sir, in a website I have seen, we can upload only 2 MB. Again, see the definition what I given. It is not uploader. It is what? Selector. Now your question is not related to this at all. Because what you are saying, how to upload only 2 MB. I am saying that this is not a uploader. Why you are asking that question? This is not a uploader. This is just a selector. Now you should not ask a question like how to upload only 2 MB. This is not uploader. This is only a selector. In uploader, you can put restriction. 2 MB can be restricted. So only JPG can be restricted like that. This is not uploading the file. That should sit in your brain perfectly first. Otherwise, all these uploading doubts will come. Right? This is not uploading the files. It is just browsing the files, selecting the files. Uploading is done with JavaScript and Node.js. You see here, suppose I say data term, your photo, and we given here input type. Input type is what? File. Now name is like photo. Okay. Now you can see that. You can see it will give a file browser. That means I clicked here. I can select any file and I click on open. That file will be selected. Is it uploaded? No, it's not uploaded. You are just select. Even if I click that button, then it will submit its name, but it is not uploaded anywhere. That uploading job is done by using logic. Lot of logic we have to write client side and server side to upload that into the servers. This is not uploading. This is only browsing, selecting the files. Here we have one option. What you can do is actually, so syntactically first we have input type is file. Name is some photo, something. You can set filter for specific file types by using accept attribute. We can use an accept attribute. That means what you can do, you can say input type is file, name is photo, and accept is equal to .jpg. You can put multiple also, comma, dot png. You can put one or you can put multiple. That means now what does this means? Accept JPG means don't think that it will accept only JPG. It will accept all files, but it will set up the filter for JPG automatically when page is loaded. That filter is not permanent. We can change the filter. Default filter is JPG. You can change that filter if you want. Currently, you see what happens when I click on this button. Yeah, when I click on this choose file button, as of now, all files are coming. We want only JPG files or PDF files or PNG files like that. So what we will do here, we can put accept .pdf. If I give .pdf, then what will happen when I click choose file? Only PDF file will come. Acrobat Reader. Means it is restricting only PDF? No, you can click here and select all files. You can select any file you want. Then what is that accept? That's a temporary filter. That filter is not permanent. You can change. Then how do you restrict only JPG, only PNG? That you will do in logic, not here. In the logic, when they submitted, we will tell them that please select and upload only JPG files. Right? Have you ever seen in any website, until or unless you push the button, it shows that you need only JPG, PNG? No, when you submit, at the time of submitting, it will verify what type of file you submitted. There it will restrict. Before itself, it will not verify. That doesn't happen actually. So you can put multiple. Suppose I say .jpg, comma, .png like this. If you put multiple, then what will happen? If I put only one JPG, then see what happens. Choose file, then it will say that JPG image only. Right? So suppose if I put here comma .png also, then now you can see custom files. You will see custom files will be there. Custom files means JPG, PNG. You can select one file and click on open, that will open. And another important is you can select only one file. Suppose I am using control key, shift key, not possible. Only one file you can select. If you want to select multiple files, so you can use the attribute multiple to allow selection of multiple files. To allow selection of multiple files. Syntactically, what you do, input type is equal to file, name is equal to photos, and we can keep multiple as an attribute. That's enough. Multiple means it allows you to choose more than one file. So that is multiple files. Let's see here. I'm just adding one more attribute. What it is, multiple. Then what happens this time? The word changed to choose files. Actually, it was choose file. Now it is choose files. Now I can click here. I can choose more than one file like this. I can select the checkboxes, or I can select first one, shift, last one. I can select control key, random, and you open 6 files selected, submit, 6 file names will be submitted. That is generally you can define multiple files also. So this is file input, how you can handle the file input. Next important, in the form elements, we have a radio button. We have a radio button. Actually, what is this radio button and how this works? We'll see one point. See, generally, ordinary definitions and what technically they are, sometimes they will change. Change means majority of YouTube channels, websites, what they try to do is to make you a topic understand easily. They will bluff the topic. They will bluff the topic, right? That means to make you a concept easily understandable, they bluff the topic. And due to that, the original concept is gone. That means we don't know what original it is, but we just know its functional behavior. That is the reason technical definition, actual behavior are different, little bit different. That I will show you now. Generally, when you show radio buttons, when you show the radio button, suppose, let's say we have a data term gender and input type is radio. And here we have a span. Later, I will tell you more concept about it. Here I say male because actually only input type radio will just give you a radio button. So there is nothing inside. That means even you give value as male, nothing will show there. Radio is an empty circle actually. So what you have to do is you have to put anything beside it. Usually we use labels for titles, captions, we use label. I will show you the label element also. In this label, we will put male. Okay. After that, another input type radio, and another label is female. Female. Now you can see that we have male and female. So if I show this to anybody and ask like, what is the purpose of radios? Then do you know what answer anybody will give is? We can select any one. Out of these two, we can select any one. That is what the definition for a radio. We can select any one. So for example, suppose we say Google. So what is the purpose of radio button? Radio button. We are searching for that. So usually radio button purpose, many of the people we give selection. So everybody will give you information about allows to choose one. It is Wikipedia. Wikipedia says that you can select any one. That is what Wikipedia is saying. But you see, I am selecting both. Wikipedia is wrong. You are saying that Wikipedia is wrong. After all, Wikipedia is also wrong. I can even claim that Google is wrong also. Right? Google is wrong after all. What do you think? Whatever Google says, whatever Wikipedia says, they are true. No, no, they are not true. Then why many people are following? That is their problem. Why they are following, we don't know. Right? That means here we proved it wrong. Like that, so many computer programming topics, we can prove them wrong. What definition they give, we will prove them wrong. Practically, we will prove them wrong. In so many cases, you will see that. Then why they talk like that? Why they put the definition like that? What is the actual purpose of this then? That means there is technically one important point is there. What is the point is actually the radio buttons generally they allow to select one, or they will allow to select more than one. You can select one or more than one. So never say that radios can select one. You can select one or more than one. But problem is, once they selected, they cannot be deselected. Suppose how to deselect female? You cannot deselect, not possible. You want to deselect male, you can't deselect, no chance. That means actually what happens means technical concept I will explain. For example, we have this is called, suppose this is technically this is the process. Suppose we are having a process. This is process. It is the process. Okay. Now we have two tasks, task 1 and task 2. Two tasks are present. That means two tasks are nothing but two radios are present. Now, one task you selected, this will go into process. After going into process, it will stuck in the process. It can't come out. It cannot come out. It will stuck in that process. No chance. It cannot come out of that process until or unless you restart the process. You refresh, restart, then it will come out. For example, you see now, I will refresh, it is gone. I selected male. I want to deselect male. No chance. You can't deselect. No chance. Only when you refresh, it is gone. And you selected male, it is in the process. You selected female, female is also in the process. Now these two are stuck in the process. They can't go out. They cannot go out. You restart the process, they will come out. You restart you select male, it is in the process. You select female, it is also in the process. Now you can't deselect them. No chance. You have to restart the process. Then how to use them? How we use these? How to deselect, select, and when to use them? How to use them is nothing but now these two tasks, task 1 and task 2. These two tasks, what we do is these two tasks, we will tie these two tasks to one thread. We call it as thread 1. We will tie the two tasks to one thread, connect these two with one thread. Then what process will do is it will allow only one out of these two. That means you tie these two to one thread. When you tie these two to one thread, then task 1 goes into process. It is working. From the same thread, another task you send, then what it will do is it will send this task out. You push task 1 again, then it will send task 2 out. That means out of thread, one thread, a thread may have 100 tasks, but it will allow only one at a time. And we can switch between them. We can switch between them. This mechanism is called in software technologies, we call it as mutex. It is called mutex. It is a concept of multi-threading. Mutex actually means mutual exclusion. Mutual exclusion. That is what actually mutex mechanism is. So technical definition is radio buttons work with a mutex mechanism. Radio buttons must be used with a mutex mechanism, mutual exclusion. Mutual exclusion. How mutex can work? You see now, two radios are there. These two radios we have to tie to one thread. That means both radios must have same name. The name is gender and this name is also gender. Now what will happen if same name elements two are present and they are radio buttons, then process will allow only one at a time. That means now what will happen is you selected male. Okay. It goes into process. You try to click male again, it will not come out. You send female into process, it will send male out of the process. You can choose any one. By seeing this, generally what people think that radios are used to select any one. But radios can be used to select more than one also. If you don't give same name, what will happen? Two radios have two different names, both can be selected. It is not about selection, it is about excluding. We call this mechanism as mutual exclusion. Now the question is where we use this, when to use this. When to use this is selecting one option is compulsory. Without selecting, you can't go. If you don't select, I will select something for you. But selection is compulsory. Then what we do is we use radios. What is advantage of radio? See, one radio, what I will do is I will always keep checked. Checked means one radio is always selected. Now I will select female, it will be selected. I selected male, it will deselect female and this. If I refresh, I selected female. If I refresh, male will be selected. There is no chance that you can skip. That means you given some list of options. In that, selection of one option is mandatory. Without selecting, they cannot go. If they don't select, we will select one for them. That is what the radio's purpose is. User can select and he can change the selection. He can change the selection. He can switch between selection. But selection is compulsory. In such cases, radios are better. Radios are better. So if you design like this, there is no chance that anybody can skip this. But if you don't give checked, they can skip. If you don't give checked, they can skip. Why? Because you selected female. If they refresh, it will be deselected. That is the reason you need to keep one what checked. So what is the concept of radio button? Actually, radio element allows to select one or multiple from a group of choices. From a group of choices. However, radio will not allow to deselect. To deselect the selected option. Will not allow to deselect the selected option. Hence, radios are designed with mutex mechanism. Mutex mechanism. Mutex is mutual exclusion. Is mutual exclusion. You can configure mutex by defining same name for all radios in a category. You can switch between selection and choose any one from list. You can switch between selection and choose any one from list. These are all the important points about radio. These days, people are learning more technical about every concept because interviews are screwing them. Because in interview, you say radios are used to select any one option, then they treat you like a school kid. right? Because HTML in CBSE syllabus, 5th class student learns, and he knows radio button as selecting one option from a list of options. That is his definition. And as a web developer, if you go and tell the same definition, people will laugh at your definition, right? What you are talking, you are still in school only, right? That is all school HTML definitions, those are, right? So we don't follow these anymore because in modern interviews, very in-depth technical concepts they ask. That means you need to be aware of its background architecture, how it works architecturally. That is what the term mutex is actually. These days, everybody are learning about this mechanism, and that's the reason some people will give you a clarity that radios will work with mutex mechanism, right? This is how the radio is defined. Syntactically, you have input type is radio and name is some gender. And here we have a label as some male label. Like this, we can define. So about label, I will tell you in next point. We will see that about label. Why I'm using a label, why not a span or anything. Here, one small point I will define here is label is a data binding element, which you can use to bind with any element, any form element, dynamic form element, which you can use to bind with any form element. Label is a data binding element. It's not just like a span or div. So how this data binding works is actually when you write label, you write label. Label can use an attribute for gender. Like this, we will write. So that means now this label is working for gender element that is binded, technically binded. This is very much required later in JavaScript, React, Angular like technologies to understand which caption belongs to which element. So that when any error occurs, we can highlight all of them. So spans and divs cannot bind like this. Data for is an attribute supported for these label elements. Using them, we bind. As of now, it is not required to write for, but technically we write like this. That means we use a for what gender. This is also for what, this is also for gender. Because out of two, only one will work. Both are not going to work. That is the nature actually. Yeah. So now here another point is, okay, we designed in this way. Next important point is, if you want any radio selected on page load, then define checked attribute. If you give checked for both, if both are having same name, then if you give checked for both, only latest will be selected. Whatever latest is, it will be selected. That means only one will be selected. So suppose I given checked for female also, checked for male and female, then it will be selected for female. Whatever latest is there, it will be selected. So it's not necessary to define for both, and it's not good. Okay, so if checked is defined for multiple, then it it works only for the latest. This is another important. So input type is radio, name is gender, and here checked. Like this we are using. How we use the radio. Now, another point is you should know that radios radios submit on as value. Radios submit on as value. They don't submit male or female like words. They submit on as value. That is the reason. Hence, every radio must have a value defined. Every radio must have a value defined. Otherwise, radios will submit on. We don't know which one is on, right? That means, for example, you see here, suppose we are selecting any one. Okay. So I'm selecting female and login. Then gender is on. Male and login, gender is on. Which one? We don't know. That means for both of them, it says gender is on. So every radio must have a value. This is male as value. This is female as value. Now it is okay. Now you see, I selected female, it says gender female. I selected male, it says gender is male. It displays what you are selecting. Otherwise, for both of them, it will be on. We don't know which one is this. We have to define a name. So it is compulsory to define a value. So input type is radio, name is gender, value is male, and label is male, like this. Label is just to display as a caption. It is not going to submit the labels. What you have to submit, that is decided by value. That is the concept of radio. That is the reason you should not use radios for selecting one. You have to use radios for exhibiting mutex. If you say it is used for selecting one, so in interviews, sometimes they ask like this. Suppose we have terms of service. And here we have to put a radio, and here I accept. Am I right? Here you see almost all websites, they give a checkbox. They don't give a radio. Here, how many options I should select? One. Then why don't we give radio? Radio is good for one. Why they don't give radio? Because you are saying radio is good for selecting one, and here I have to select one. Then why they don't give radio? Because once you selected, you cannot deselect. Then how? How you will deselect? You have to refresh. That's not a correct one. Or you have to have another radio with same name, then you can deselect. That's the reason it is not used for this purpose. Why we use a checkbox? That means actually the radio and checkbox are similar. So we have a checkbox. It is similar to radio, but allows to check and uncheck any option. And important is it is not affected by mutex mechanism. It is not affected by mutex. That means even you define same name, it will not be affected by mutex. All checkboxes are independent. You can select more than one. You can select one or more than one. What is advantage of checkbox? You can check and uncheck. That is the advantage of checkbox. It's also same. Input type is checkbox. Name is some terms. Value is accept. And here we put a label as I accept. Something like this. You can have anything. Even you give same name for multiple radios, all can be selected. It will not affect by mutex mechanism. You can choose one or more than one. You can select or you can deselect. So for example, suppose I will copy this one. For radios, I will copy that program. Right. For checkbox, it is simple thing like suppose if anybody say select courses. We have a data definition, we have an unordered list, or we have a list item, we have input type is what? Checkbox. I'm using checkbox. And here we are having a label. This is some Java. And value is Java. And name is what? Course. And the same thing we are having some here. Suppose I define React. So we have Angular. So we have Oracle. So, and we have like courses are same, values are different. This is some React. This is some Angular. Okay. So Angular, this is some Oracle, all this. And you see now all these are the checkboxes we are having. And we don't want this. So we will keep a style and we will just keep unordered list as a list unstyled list style as what? None. Now you can see user can select more than one and user can deselect all of them and submit. It is going to submit those two. You can make anything by default checked. It will be checked. However you want, you can deselect. So if you want selection, if you think that selection is not mandatory, they can skip, then better you go with what? Check. Selection is mandatory, they can't skip, then better you go with what? Reduce. Some interviews they ask how we can have a checkbox list. There is no checkbox list. Checkbox list means if there are 20, then will you show 20 in one line? Obviously we don't show. Already I told you na scrollable list. That is called checkbox list. That means they ask in many interviews how it is possible to design a checkbox list. There is no checkbox list in HTML. Checkbox list means if 20 items are there, how you will show? 50 cities are there, how you will show? We will not show line, lengthy line. What you will do? Simple. We learn technique na. What is the technique? For this, you give a border 1 pixel solid gray. For this, you give a width as 100 pixel. It will come like this. And for that height, you define as 50 pixel. It will overflow. And you know what to control. What it is? Overflow as what? Auto. Then it is a scrollable list, checkbox list. There is no checkbox list, but they ask, I want like a checkbox list. Then we have to manually design like that, right? That is generally the concept of checkbox. Checkbox also will submit on as value. You have to make sure that they have a value. That is basically checkbox. These are so many controls that you have learned today. This is enough for today. What you learned: password, number, email, URL, color, file, radios, checkboxes. Another one, uh, range, date and time. All these comes under this. Now we have drop downs, list boxes, we have meter, progress, buttons, different other elements that we'll see in next session. Tomorrow we will do that. Tomorrow we will finish the forms. And now by using these, we will try to design some real-time forms. That means we will take some examples of websites. We will try to design them by using this forms concept that we will see in next session. Tomorrow we will do that. Okay.